Um, Good morning, participants. So today's session will be taken by Mr. Abhinash. He is working as data scientist with Data Analytics Valley, Bangalore, and his area of work is he's working in the area of data processing, descriptive analysis and visualization, predictive modeling, and data mining also. So he'll be taking today's session uh, upon the topic, and I welcome you, Mr. Abhinash, for this FDP.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you may start, Abhinash, sir.
Okay, ma'am. So I'm just a very good morning to all of you who was present in this particular webinar, or basically FDP. So I'm sharing my complete screen. So today we will be focusing first of on what is actual data, why we require to process it. Without processing, if we feed this particular data to a machine or a model, then what will be the significant effect and what not will be the significant effect. So let me sharing my screen. I will be sharing my entire screen with you all. Okay, so just let me know if my screen is visible to you. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat window. Is my screen visible to all?
Not yet.
Okay, ma'am. Now is it fine?
Yes, now it's visible.
Okay, sure. So today we will be going to start data processing, data cleaning, and we will be working on application of R. And we will be seeing a comparative analysis in Python also. Okay, now if I start with the word called data, so I will be understanding that what is actual data. Okay, now data can be understood as something which has information inside it, or I can say collective collection of information, collection of record, or collection of anything. As the use of internet application and digitalization of world has become with an exponential rate, the amount of data generation has also increased. Whereas from last 2000, if I say in the last comparative 2017 2018, the data generating growth has been in a vast growing rate. Now, if suppose I say that in 2020, I have near about 100% of data if I compare, then in the year 2017 onward, we only have 10% of the 100%. So you can see in last 3 years, we have generated a huge amount of data. And if we have generated a huge amount of data, then we have to handle that data also. Now, their handling and all the extraction part is coming under cloud. We are not going into that. We are majorly focusing how to pre-process, process all the data in order to grab insight from the data. Now, if I have this amount of data means I have to handle this data and generate insight from data. Now, if suppose I have a data something like this, suppose I am observing data for market research and I have data in this particular format. Okay, first let's understand data. Understand data means data can be of different forms, different varieties. Now, if I say I have a market research data, something like that, I have serial number, I have name for certain products, I have price for them. I'm only making this data as suppose serial number 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a product name as A, B, C, and D. And I have price with me. Suppose this, or I can say an integer. Suppose I have this data with me. Now, in this data, you can find that there are some relevant data also and irrelevant data also. Now, if somebody wants to generate information or somebody wants to extract useful information this from this particular whole complete data, then there are two things he should know. First of all, what is the business problem or what is his main objective. Now, suppose my business problem comes to me that I want to analyze the name or the product with respect to price. For that information, I only require this information from the data. I can compare that from the whole data, from this whole bunch of data, I have only this useful information because serial number do not have any impact on the price or on the product name. Now, first of all thing is that the data which I am getting from internet or from any source. Now, sources of data can be anything. If I compare the sources of data, it can be anything. Nowadays, data can be from internet also, from files also, from servers also, from cloud also. We don't have any limitation from where the data is coming. But the major thing is that we cannot use the raw data to get insight. First of all, we have to process the data. Now, here comes the importance of data processing and data cleaning. In the same way, if suppose I want to perform some of analysis, I can use this data to perform analysis. So let us see some sort of analysis. Because this is my main data, I cannot use this particular format of data. Why? Because there are some irrelevant sources in the data as well. This can be termed as irrelevant, and the relevant source for analysis can be this data. Now, what is the major thing? I have to transform my data to my relevant data so that I can do some sort of analysis. In the whole scenario, in this particular growing era of computer science, there are multiple languages which are being used by different peoples to do these type of analysis or processing and cleaning. If I make a list of all the tools which the industry is using, some will say there is Excel, some will say there is a most popular language called Python, some will say there is R programming also. Now, these three can be the most important tool if we are looking into the first phase of this particular program, that is data cleaning and data processing. In order to get data or data cleaning, we should understand what is cleaning first. Now, cleaning doesn't mean that we actually change the face of data. Okay. Or pre-processing doesn't mean we are changing the data. We are not changing the data. We are only making the data more meaningful and enrich. Now, what that enrich simply one means. Now, suppose I have this data. I'm making a sample data. So I have a data something like this. There is serial number. Suppose I say, with this I have name of product, name of company. I say company. Now I have a stock price with it. So I say stock price. And now I have, suppose, okay, I have three location, three columns. I have one, second, third, and fifth. Okay, fine. Now there is a company name. Suppose I say this IBM, TCS, Wipro, WNS, ZS. Now, they have a stock price, and somebody has given the stock price in form of something like this with a symbol as dollar. Now, when we are performing analytics or whenever we are performing some sort of analytics, the machine will not understand that this or this particular dollar symbol. Now we are here, or we have to change this particular dollar symbol to some sort of this format, means numeric format. Or somebody can also define this particular thing like this. If he has defined this in string, suppose I have defining this into string. Now, when I want to do some comparative analysis, when I want to extract some of the sales data, I cannot extract because this particular data in Excel is into the form of string and I can operate on number. Now, that is also a major problem when you are getting data. So what it actually means, we are not actually changing the data. We are only trying to changing the phase. We are trying to enrich the data rather than changing the data, and that the process is called data cleaning and data transformation. So basically we are enriching our data which is present with us rather than changing the phase, because if we are changing the phase, then we are completely changing the data, and that can be responsible for a negative effect on my business problem. So there are multiple tools we can hear about. So today we will have a comparative analysis over of Excel, Python, and R. Our major focus is on R programming. I will be more focused on R, but I will be showing a comparative analysis on Python also. So you will have a combined effect how these two works on data cleaning and data pre-processing. Okay, I hope this particular thing is fine to all. Now, this particular program we are be going to deal. So let me have a descriptive study plan for us. So today we are going to deal. First of all, we will going to study data. Then we will going to study how to access the data, because data can be in different sort of files. It can be a CSV file, it can be Excel file, it can be a SAS file, and different sort of file. How we will access this sheets into systems. Then we will be moving down how to clean the data. What are the steps of cleaning? What are the steps of cleaning? Then we will be moving down with pre-processing. After pre-processing, we will be moving down when we have pre-processed the data. Okay, now we have two forms of machine learning technique that will be going to be studied in this particular program. Now, what are those two techniques which will going? So I think I have been given a curriculum for linear regression, as well as I have given a curriculum for logistic regression. Now, first of all, you should know okay, what are these two things or under which category they belongs. Okay. Now, these two things that these two words belongs to a specific term that is called machine learning. Okay. Now, machine learning means what? If I'm taking these two terms, before these, why I'm taking, because if I want to analyze these, I have to analyze this. Now before analysis of this, I cannot move down to this. But if I want to analyze these two terms, I have to first need to understand data. What is data? And before data, I should need to know okay, what is machine learning, because each machine learning case study has some sort of business problem. And on that form of business problem, we gather data from different sources like Kaggle, GitHub, any research purpose, or any sort of company or any government organization, or it can be also collected by the survey people. For example, if suppose Indian government wants to know okay, what is the population growth of India. Now, what the data of data collection will be like? In the government of India will send people on survey. They will count the people as per city, as per district, as per state. Then they will form a cumulative count that okay, overall population of India is this. In 2011 it was this, in 2021 it was this. So they will calculate okay, what was the percentage growth in this particular 10 year. Now, if I want to do that using machine learning, how will be I going to predict the future? Or how will I going to predict in the year 2022 or 2032 or 2042 or 2052, what will be the population of India? So in order to generate some insight, and on base of that insight, I'm trying to predict something. Now that particular whole phase is called machine learning. And machine learning basically means from the figure that we train the machine or we make our machine learn from data. Now here is the main focus. The word data comes into play. Now, if you want to understand what is data cleaning and data pre-processing, first of all, you should learn what is data. So before that, I have tossed that particular. So I will be coming to the next sheet. I will be defining as it can be termed as data. I'll be showing different forms of data which you will be finding in each of the files which are available on Kaggle or GitHub. And meanwhile, we can be having a competitive case study on Kaggle also. So what is data? So data, some will say, definitely Maxim will say, it is collection of information. Okay, I say collection of information, completely fine. I am okay with that. Okay, now what information? Do we have a specific kind of information or we have different kind of information? Now, data has severally different kind of information. It can be information about a city, it can be information about a human, it can be information about an animal, it can be information about a company, it can have information about some disease and so on. Now, suppose if I'm showing you a very sample data. So just let me come to my mainframe. So just a second. Okay, now I have a coronavirus data set with me, which is collected over a past period of time by a GUI based application. So I'll be opening that, and in that I want to show you okay, how data can be in a simple format. So it will not take more than 1 minute. I'll wait for a while to open. Okay, now fine. Now, okay. So I just want to know that is my screen visible to all, and are you able to see this particular small data set? Now this thing can also be considered as a data in order if or anyone wants to know okay, from where a person data has been collected. Okay, now if suppose in this particular data I have state as my header, then there is a problem or a symptom of coronavirus that is called difficulty in breathing. I have again a symptoms running nose. I have a symptoms of body pain. I have some symptoms and final features that is called coronavirus result. I have a feature called city, gender, total person in family, citizenship, country, religion, patient. Now this collection of data can be also a data in order if you want to analyze on COVID-19. Okay. Now if somebody wants to analyze on different scenario, for suppose he want to know what will be the population growth of India or China in 2050. Now he will not do analysis on that. He will be doing analysis or comparative study on the population data. Now the important and relevancy of data depends on business problem. So if I'm writing up here, okay, I will be going for data collection, data cleaning, or if I'm saying I want to analyze some data, so what is my first step? My step will be this. So if I'm saying my first step will be this. Okay, what is my business problem? Now, based upon business problem, I will be collecting the data or I will be segmenting the data. Now, if I'm saying in my step two that I will be collecting data, so I can say it as data collection. If I want to collecting data, so suppose if my analysis or my machine learning study or anything research purpose goes to 100 days, then you will be very amazed to know that near about 60% of the time of the project or 70% of the time of the project goes in near about I will not say 50, I will make it 50 to 60% goes in data collection. This amount of time goes into data collection. Now when you have collected data or I have a some small source of data, I will be moving down toward the step third that is called data cleaning, and that is a major portion of our program today. Okay, for the first session we are going for data cleaning and pre-processing. Now this is a major topic for today, so we will be moving down toward this. Now if suppose I am going for data cleaning, data pre-processing and some sort of things like that, so first of all I need a data, and I will be looking for this particular data pre-processing in R, and I will compare the code with Python also. So you will be amazed to know that why Python has become more popular as compared to R. R basically gone into statistical form. Python has become into statistical plus development form. So now suppose if somebody wants to analyze his result or some sort of comparative case study and he want to show that into a form of GUI based or a web based application, he can perform with Python also. But he can also integrate Python script with R. So there is no comparative mean, but we can will going with a comparative measure for both particular languages. Now, what is first of all cleaning? First of all, cleaning. What is cleaning? Why we require cleaning? Why we don't pre-process data directly? Why we first require cleaning, then we pre-process, and then we make meaningful data? Now, suppose I'm coming to the main third of my worksheet, and I'm making a small data in which I will be showing okay, how data varies and why we require cleaning. Okay. Now, suppose I'm making this particular data as suppose I have this as serial number. Here I am providing the company the stock name, and with this I have a stock price also. This I have from where the source or the, I can say, a particular company has different region, from the region from where region the stock price was maximum. And here I will be saying the person who has ordered what was his actual salary, or I can say what was his estimated amount. So I can say a small amount called amount. Okay, now I have a data with me something like this. Now, in this, suppose I say I have IBM. I have a data something like this. I say some there stock price. Now what happened during the data entry or data feeding part? Some of the data operator missed out a point. Now they have done this point, and this is not a very good thing. This is a very critical scenario. Now they have made this particular thing as this. Now when they are entering the region, what they done? They preferred as this as north. They has this as north, not this form. They have done this, and now what they have done, they have done this as south, and this as east, and this as west, this has again north, not this format. They have done north, and now what they happened, they come to her and say this is some south. What happened, guys? They have not transformed this particular data. Now looking at this data, you will find that okay, it's fine, no issue at all. Now what they have come, they have done a very pretty mistake. They have defined into string format. Now this, something like this, I'll be defining up here. While operating, they want to assist this particular dollar symbol, so they have make into string, then they have put the dollar symbol, and that, and this is the place where they have done the mistake, and this the thing where they have done the mistake while entering the data. So I'll be copying this some jumbled form of data. Fine, fine. Now suppose I have this data with me. I make a very simple form of data, and I have this data with me. Now you will be looking at this particular format of data, and you will be looking at this and saying that okay, this data is fine. We don't think that there is some sort of implementation which can be done to analyze this data. Now suppose somebody wants to analyze this particular data with respect to the stock price. Okay, now a person who was entering the data has not entered the stock price for TCS or Tata. Now, the major thing will be whenever we are doing any sort of analysis, we will be finding that there are some sort of missing values, or the values which are not present. Now, in this particular format here, and if I compare or copy this particular data and I paste up and up cup here, now you will find that these two places in TCS and Tata, I don't have any stock. Now, if I want to analyze this data, if I'm doing analysis or some sort of analysis using Excel, also using pivot table, I'm not able to do any kind of analysis. In R and Python is a way long. I cannot do to analyze all the data in R and Python directly. Now I will be observing this data. This data cannot be used for any sort of machine learning, nor any sort of data analysis, not any sort of data mining, not any sort of data visualization. Why? Because data is completely missing. Now again, what is this? These terms can be understood as missing value. So I can term these two terms as that there is some sort of missing value. So I can easily quote this particular as they are missing values. Okay, now in the second phase in the region column, we are about to see that a person who has made this particular data has done a very blundered mistake. And what is a blundered mistake? Whenever we are doing any sort of analysis in R or Python, now these languages are case sensitive. And if they are case sensitive, and if I want to make how many regions or want to see the count of the region, then in this particular column, what they will say that there are, first of all, there is a region called North. Then they will say there is also a region called North with a small name. So this is, they will say there is a region with a South. This, so how many region they have defined up? Three. Then they will say there is a region called East. Then they will say there is a region called West. Then they have a South. Okay, now they have a South now called South. Okay, now fine. Now you will see that there are six category within this particular one region. You have what amount of category provided by the data operator? 6. But on the actual ground, of the region which the company is looking forward, we have only 4 varieties, that is East, that is North, South, East or West. Now what my analysis will think for this particular thing and what my analysis will think for this particular thing. Now these two things can also be understood as a non-meaningful data. Now, what my objective or what my thing would be, I have to get rid of these missing values, these kind of all the things which are up here, and these type of amount cannot be used for any analysis because they are of string type, and you can see they are ended in quotes, within double quotes or single quotes they are ended in quotes. Now I am more concerned to enrich this data and transform this data into my meaningful statement. And my meaningful statement is not like that कि I can directly dump my data into some sort of application and it will clean. No, no, no. It is not the phase of artificial intelligence so advanced that I can process my data directly and it can clean the data on its own. Because we are living in the era where if I am implementing a deep learning neural network to this data also, so first of all I have to clean the data. Somebody who was very expert in this field once said that if you don't clean the data and apply the most complex algorithm on the data to work on, your results will not be as accurate if you clean the data and apply the most simplest algorithm on the data. So the value of data cleaning is the same as education now of artificial intelligence to every professional in the industry. As artificial intelligence has become, or data science or any other sort of thing has become a part of life, the same way if you are going into data analysis or data visualization, this particular thing is being so important for a person who is looking forward into this particular field. Now if I'm saying how will I be cleaning this data, how will I be dealing this value, how will I be dealing with this value, how will I be dealing with this value, how I will be looking for this value, what will be the value. Now there are many big questions for it. Okay, what will be the value for missing value? I don't know what will be the value for missing value. Now how will be treating these missing value? Now how will be going to label them, how will be going to label, or how will be going to label, meanwhile how will be going to misclassify or correct the spellings. What are these correct spelling called? Now suppose if I'm going to make another data, and that will be a more simple data in order to understand. So suppose I have different sort of car name and their price. Okay, now suppose I have Audi with me. Here somebody have written Audi, I have Nissan, somebody has written Nissan. Now what happened? These two cars belong to a same group. Okay, but somebody or some operator who has entered the data inside my system has done few of the mistake and he has done this particular incorrect. Now when I'm going to clean the data, what I meant, wherever my car name is Audi, I will be cleaning this particular to Audi, this also to Audi, this to Nissan, and this also to Nissan. Now when I'm saying this, now Previously my data was this, which was in an unclean fashion, but when I'm going to clean the data, my enriched data will be looking in this particular fashion. What this fashion? This particular fashion. So now you are going, or you have a clear, crisp idea of why we need cleaning, because the data which we have is not clean. Now, the major thing is that what are the different source from where a person who is entering in this field can download such forms of data. Now, the platform from where you can have a good amount of data, that is Kaggle, GitHub, UCI repository, or you can also do some sort of web scraping. That will be a part of today's session. And that particular scraping will be using Python. Now I will be implementing beautiful soup module of Python to some scrap, or in order to make you understand how we can scrap a very basic website in that particular 1 hour. And for after a scrapping, or after making all the data from that particular URL page or HTML page, how we can perform some sort of analysis over that. Okay, now I have some sort of data with me. So coming back to the mainframe where I was dealing with. So now you have understand what is data, why first of all we have to clean the data, and what is pre-processing basically means. Now I will be moving down to this particular term for introduction. These two terms are not separately defined. Basically, they are being defined, or they are being coined into this particular phase that is called machine learning. If I'm talking about machine learning basically means learn from data. A model or a machine which learns from data. Now, suppose I have a data something like this. Now, Google has given me a data for its stock price. Now, say Google stock price. They have given a data something like this. Okay. And here I have some sort of date wise. I say there is a date, or I can say I have a column called month. Suppose I say it is Jan, Feb, March, and April. Okay. Now they have given my stock price and a data for me in order to understand what is happening and what is not happening. So you will be very amazed to know that if you plot this particular graph, or understand, you will find that there is a trend which is increasing in nature. Now, if I want to make this as a graph also, or this as a bar chart or some sort of thing for analysis, I can perform directly. So I can say insert, and if I come to here, it will be a general introduction, not much. But after seeing this particular chart and this particular data, what you analyze from this? You analyze that there is a growing nature in the curve. Growing nature means that there is some sort of increment in the stock price. Now, what in this particular, if I say in linear regression, what we try to do, we try to make a machine or a model which learn from this data and can predict for which month can have, and it has a very special power that it can predict for the month of June, or for the month of August, or can also predict for the month of December. Now that is called machine learning. Machine learning basically means learn from data and predict future. Now machine learning, or this particular form of two words which I am considering under machine learning, are basically also considered under predictive modeling. Now you will say, okay, what basically is predictive modeling? What is basically predictive modeling? So predictive modeling is not very new to this particular world. This particular word has been derived from the phrases of analytics that is called predictive analytics. Now, predictive analytics is a part of data analytics, and in which we say, what we actually say, what will happen in future. And how will we say? We will first of all understand the past, what has happened in the past. If we know what has happened in the past with the help of a machine, then we will predict the future based upon past data. Now that is called predictive modeling because we are trying to predict something. And under predictive modeling of machine learning, or in form of predictive modeling, we actually have two forms. If I'm saying in machine learning, I actually have two forms. And what are those two forms called? The first form is termed as supervised. The second term is called unsupervised. And if I'm talking about that I am doing linear and logistic regression, then definitely I will be saying that I am working in supervised form. Why supervised? Why not unsupervised? So we will be looking into the phase when we'll be moving down towards machine learning, but I am restricted my topic till here only. So now we will be more focus first of all to grab the data, how we actually grab the data both in R and in Python, how we access the data in Python both in R. I'll be have a comparative case study first of all in R, then I will be moving down towards Python so you can have a clear cut view, steps for cleaning and what is a step for pre-processing. Okay, so I hope now the thing is pretty fine to all of you. So just give me a yes in the chat window if it's fine. Okay, so I think it's fine. So I shall start with particular language called R and Python separately. Coming to the next sheet, if I say up here, I will be moving with R first of all and then Python. So if I compare R, so R is the not very new language. It's a very popular language among the data scientists, data analysts, some of the professional from research purpose, research works. And there is also another language which is most popular among youth and among professional, that is Python. So first of all, if you want to start with R, you should have to know okay, how to download it. You know the process, how what is basically R. R is basically a language. If it is a language, we need an IDE to work on. So what is an IDE which will be preferring? We will be preferring R Studio. Now this is a IDE or a platform on which I will be writing the codes. Now, in the same way, if you are going with Python, you should also have an IDE. So, what is IDE? Now, here you have a bunch of IDE which are available, like Spider or Python Notebook. You have two bunch of IDE which are available for R and one for Spider. Now, where you will find for R? So, there, first of all, if you are not having any clue about R, so we will have a quick recap about R. So, just a second. So, I'll coming to the mainframe. First of all, you have to download R. There are two things if you want to install R. First of all, you have to download the R software from where. So first of all, you will write R software. You will come to this particular thing. On the second link, you can click up here and download this particular for Windows. If you download this, then you have to first install this particular known as R software. After downloading R software, you have to jump to R Studio. You have to download this also. You will download this. This is near about 174 MB, what I think so. You're downloading this. When you download this, you have to first install the R, then you have to install R Studio. After downloading, you will be coming to the mainframe on the search icon. On the search icon, you will write R Studio. Now, as the thing which is visible on your screen, I will just click on this open and my R ID will be on my screen. So how the R or the R programming IDE looks like? Something like this, some sort of this. Is my screen visible to all? Okay, fine. So now on my screen is the R, basically the interface of R. And I just want to know how many are familiar with this particular environment. Just give me a yes in the chat window if you are familiar. But if you are not, if you are seeing this particular screen first time, is my screen visible to all? No. So how many of you are, or who has not worked on R or don't have any clue about R programming, or how many of you have always working on R or have seen or some sort of done any sort of analysis or any sort of project on R? So I think all of you have worked on R.
I think I think not, sir. Abhinash, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, no issue at all. So we will be dwelling from scratch only, both
Yes.
Python and R.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
when you
Okay.
will open R Studio, the first window will be something like this. So just let me clean all the stuff. Okay. Now this is the window you will be looking over it. Just a second. Now fine. This will be the window which will be in front of your screen when you open RStudio. Now, there are four windows in this. Can you see this particular window number one on my leftmost corner top? This is window one. Now, at the down, it's called the console. At the right hand part, upper window is called the global environment, where I will define any of the vectors or any of the variable will be shown by its value and what value it contains. And on the right hand side, top bottom, you will find the graphs. Whatever I want to analyze, what I want to visualize, that particular graph are available on my right window. So the main IDE of our programming is being divided into four parts. First part is called editor window. Now editor window is where I've just zoomed in my R Studio. Now this is the R Studio and the editor window is this, where I am just writing this particular state code that is called hello world. Now, if you have run this code, how you will run this code? You will simply go on the right first line, and when you are on the right first line, just hit Control Enter. Just a second. Oh, fine. You will only hit and come with Control. If I want to run this, run a program, line, come to line, and hit Control plus Enter. And when you hit Control and Enter, you will find that there is a word or there is a statement in your console window. In your console window, which is saying hello world. Now, this is the very basic thing that if somebody wants to run any sort of program or anything. Now, suppose if you are learning a particular language, then you will say that there are I can say there are many terms which are related to a programming language. So you have heard about tokens. Okay, so if I say about token can be defined as a smallest building block of any programming language. Now I'm not going into that because it will take a lot of time. I will be directly coming here and say suppose I want to do some sort of analysis or some sort of technique based upon a number, or if I want to take a certain number from the user and then input or have a implementation of operation on that number. So what or how will I define? So if a number, if I'm entering into my software, I need a variable which will store the value of that number and holds for the time of operation. So now my thing will how we define variable and assign values to it, because if I'm saying I have to assign values to it, I am directly saying what I'm directly saying. I'm directly saying that I have to first make a variable and assign a value. Why? Because if I am importing my data from some external files, then those external data should also be saved in a variable, assigned to a assign value to a variable. So here there are two things which you can do. First of all, you can come up here and define a variable. I say var 1 equal to 100. Now, equal symbol is can be said as assignment operator. And if I say print var 1, you will see that I have inputted a variable which name is 100. एक मेरे पास वेरिएबल 1 है जिसकी वैल्यू क्या है 100, and that particular value has been visualized and can be seen in the global environment. With there we have values and val. Now, in this particular code can be same in Python, but in R we have another statement or another line which can be termed as var2. We can also assign the same thing as this. Now there is no difference in taking the values or entry. Now we can do the same thing in this format also. So this is a thing where how you can take entry from the variables or entry from the data. Now the thing is that if suppose you are having this particular screen and you have to, what you have to do? You have to first of all clean the screen. Now you want to clean all the screen, this particular main screen also, this particular global environment also, not this particular main screen, but you want to clean this particular global environment. So what will be the following code in order to clean this global environment if you want to do some sort of analysis from the starting? Because if you don't clean this environment, what will happen? It will take the by default back values which are available for it. What are the back values? Back values can be seen which are var1, var2. So first of all, we will come up here and say rm list equal to a tuple structure with ls, means clear screen. And when I run this, you will find that the global variable on my environment becomes clear cut over. Now, if I want to do some sort of analysis, what I was talking in this particular Excel file, I was talking in this particular Excel file like this. Now here I was talking about. Now suppose if I want to do some sort of analysis or some sort of things, now what will be a major step? My major step will be first of all clean the data. So first of all, cleaning the data directly means first of all I have to import my data into my system or my R program. So how I will be importing my data? I'll be coming to the main screen. I have taken out a sample data of supermarket purchase. Now I will be opening that data file. So this is a data file which we will be working over it. In this particular data, you can find that we have some sort of missing values. Now here you can find we have some sort of missing values, and here you will find that there is a type. This particular data has been collected from a supermarket sales. And what supermarket sale basically means, we are trying to collect the data of some of the people over a past time. What past time means? That if suppose a person age is 28 and he is an unemployed person, he is not married, he is graduate, he is not living in a metro city, then what kind of purchase he can made from our website, and from last what was the date when he has logged in his account. Now this particular data we have collected, and if we are looking at this data, we can find that we have age in this particular data. Now I want to make you understand, if you want to see this data or understand this data, you should know okay, what type of elements are present in this data. So I will be first of all copying some data from here in order to make you understand that what are the features you can look without making any sort of analysis. Now what it can be, so I will be pasting that data up here. Now if you have, suppose you have this data only, okay, and in this data what sort of things you can find? Suppose you have age column, okay. Now in this particular age column, you can see that my age can have a range from 18 to 60 maximum times we have a shopping range, or maximum people belong into this range only. Okay, now what this particular range means, when you are dealing with this type of column, you are basically saying that I am dealing with a kind of data. And what kind of data it is, I hope you have heard about continuous data. Now when you are talking about continuous data, you are saying that the data which can be defined within a range, which cannot be measured but can be defined within a range, like population height, population, I can say income. Now these two things or these kind of variable I cannot define in a, or I cannot count, because some person can have a height of 1.72335 meters also. Somebody can have a height of 1.7334 meters also. So I cannot count on my fingers every height, but I can measure the height or the income level in form of a, suppose I say in form of range. Suppose if I say about population, population height ph, I can define it in a range of, suppose I say I have a minimum person 0.5 meters to a maximum person of 2.1 meters. Now I have provided in a range. So when we are, I'm talking about, then when we have data in form of a range, then I'm directly saying that it is a variable of continuous type of data. Now, when I'm talking about this particular thing, can you see this data has multiple categories? Now, I can directly say that this particular job type is not a continuous data. It is basically a categorical data. Now, categorical data have to be understood separately and continuous data has to be understood separately. Now, if I'm saying this particular category, I can find that there is unemployment as a category, retired as a category, student as a category, and employed as a category. Same way I have marital status, which is also in form of category, education also in form of category, and metro cities also in form of categories. So if I want to analyze data, first of all I should know which column has what kind of data inside it. Then only I can pre-process, then only I can form the data into a meaningful and enriched data for analysis. Now my major thing was that how will I import that data into my R or Python. So I'll be coming to the mainframe. I will be coming to my R studio. Now, suppose if I want to enter, now what is my major thing for analysis or machine learning? First of all, I need to import data from Excel file or CSV file. So first of all, we make a variable to hold it. So I say data equal to, and you will find that R programming is very useful. It will provide or it will help you whatever you want to say. If you will say read, it will say, what do you want to read? Do you want to read CSV? Do you want to read a CDF file, delimited file, tables, matrix, sockets, bin, character file, clipboard, number of lines, multiple lines, registers, and multiple things? Now you will say how to read Excel. For Excel, there are multiple things, but in up here you can also see that importing Excel file into our support XLS. Why the embedded library? We have an embedded library for that separately. We will be moving down towards CSV file. So coming up here, you will pass a double quotes. Within double quotes, you will pass the path of this particular file. Now, how will we grab the file? You can simply grab the file by right clicking on the window on the particular file. You will have this particular pop-up. You will come to the properties. After properties, you will come to securities. On securities, you will have the path. Copy the path, come to our studio, paste the path. After pasting, you have to transform this particular backward slash to forward slashes. Once you have done this particular thing, now what you will do, you will say control enter, and you will find that I have imported my data. Now can you find, while clicking over this, I can view my data also. So I can see that I have imported that particular data into my R program. Now you will say how this particular view has come. or how particular this particular thing has come to, I can directly come up here and directly write view. In this view, I want to view the data separately on a separate tab. So I will directly say control enter and I can see that I have a separate tab of this on my R profile. Now in this you can find that there are 325 entries. 325 entries means 325 rows and 7 columns. And the column names are mentioned up here. Now if you want to see what are the columns name in my data, so if you want to explore the columns name, you can write up here call names, and within call names you will only pass the data, the variable which is holding the data, and you can find on my downward console that I am getting all the columns name, age, job type, marital status, education, metro city, signed in last days, and purchase made. Okay, suppose if I want to explore data, so first of all we will be exploring data. So how we will explore the data? We will explore the data using, if I want to explore the data, I want to see the data. If suppose somebody came to me and say, if you want to see the data, first of all, let's see the top 5 rows. Now what I want to analyze, what I want to see, top 5 rows. For this particular thing, if I compare my data as a human has its own head and tail. Head means the top part, tail means the bottom part. Same way the data also have the top part and bottom part. So while coming to the R Studio, now I am on the R Studio. What I will say head. Within that head, I will pass data. I'll simply click on this and you can see on my console that I have data top 5, means all the top portion of data is into my system. All the portion. Here you will find top 6. In Python, you will have top 5 by default. Now, if you want to find the summary, now somebody says कि ये जो column है आपके पास, suppose I have this particular column as supermarket purchase, okay, and I want to know कि is there any missing value, or is there, and what is a count, what are the total unique counts, means what type of unique categories are available, how many unique categories are available up here, how many unique categories are available, how many unique categories, means somebody wants to know that in this particular job type column how many type of jobs or how many categories are there. So how he will analyze this? Suppose I say I want to know how many categories are available in job type. So I'll be coming up here, I'll be saying unique. Within unique, I will only pass the data column. Now, first of all, you one thing came to your mind, okay, how you will access single column in a data frame. Now, what is data frame? The structure which you can observe on your screen, this particular structure is termed as data frame. So how you will access this particular single column, because I don't want to access all, I only want to access this column. Suppose if I want to access purchase, then how will I access? It's very simple, very simple. You only have to write data, then you have to apply this particular dollar symbol. As you apply this particular dollar symbol, all the columns will be on your hands. So whatever you want to select, you can select. In this way, you can access. Now here I have accessed the age. I don't want to access the age. What I want to access, I say dollar. I want to access the job type. As soon as I click on here, you will find that I have 4 varieties of categories inside this particular job type. So I will be copying this. I'll be coming up here and I will say I have these 4 varieties in my job type. In the same way, you can find unique data. Now this is also called data forms of analysis, means you are actually analyzing the data, okay, what is in what column. So you will say that in marital status, I have 2 things. First is called yes, second is no. So let me have all the unique count for all the categories column which I have with me. So I say job type, marital status, education. So I'll come in here. For an education, we have 3 varieties. One is graduate, other one is secondary, and the last is primary. Pasting up here. Unique within data. And I hope you are enjoying this particular case because it's the most easiest thing to analyze in R and Python rather than in Excel. Because in Excel you have to understand a lot of things, but in R or Python language, if you have a small cut of idea ke how the code actually works, then there is pretty easy things for you in order to analyze and visualize. Now, you have seen all the categories that in this particular metro city we have two things: a person who is living in yes or no. In education, we have graduate, secondary, primary. The same way, marital status also yes, no. And in the job type, we have unemployed, retired, student, and employed. Now, my major thing is data cleaning and processing. Cleaning and processing means we don't have any missing value. So, how we will treat a missing value? So first of all, I should know na which column contains missing value. So you have two things. First of all, you can also say summary. Within that, you can pass the data. When you see the summary, you will have this particular data up here. Now, in this summary, you can find that there are, when you analyze this particular age column summary, you will find that the minimum value of this particular age is 23. The maximum value is 65. The first quartile. Now, what is this first quartile come or known as? Okay, now let us understand what this first quartile actually means. Now, we have a median value, a mean value of that, then we have third quartile, and then we have maximum value. So if you want to understand what is this minimum, what is this first quartile, what is the second quartile, so we have to understand in a very basic term the terminology of data distribution. So if I'm coming to this particular block and I'm making this particular block something like this, so let me insert a figure out here. So now if suppose I have this with me, so just let me drag and drop up here. Okay, fine. So I have data with me now. Okay, fine. So can you see this particular block which I have made just fine? I can term, if suppose this is a data distribution, I am supposing is this as a data distribution. If suppose this is a data distribution for age, okay. Now I am suppose this is a data distribution for the age column. Now this particular point is the minimum value. This particular point is the maximum value. This particular point is the Q1 first quartile. This particular point, this from where this particular is starting is called first Q1 point. I will be removing this. It will be a confusion for you. Now this particular Q3 is termed as a this particular point. This is Q3, and some in the middle part, some or the other part, you will find that there is a portion value called median or mean. Now what is median and mean I will be telling about. Now this particular can be termed as the median value or the mean. Now median and mean have some sort of things that you should know, but the major distribution of age column will be something like this. Now this is the minimum value, this is the maximum value, this is the Q3, this is the Q1, and this is age. This can be some sort of minimum or maximum. Now coming to the mainframe, you will find that there are some sort of NAs. What this NA is called? This particular NA are termed as missing value. And you will be very amazed to know that when I am saying the job type, I don't have any minimum, maximum, or third quartile or maximum value because it is of character type. Because the mode of this is character. Marital status is also character. Education is also character. Metro city is also character. Meanwhile, since login means signed in last since days are numeric, so they are giving in this particular format, but not a single column contain numeric as of age. So in this particular age, we have a missing value. So in the crisp note, we can find there are missing value. Now you have a clear cut indication that we have missing value in age column. Now how you will be dealing this particular thing in age column, how you will be dealing? So you will be coming up here, you can also have a separate look on this particular age column. You will say dot is dot na. In this you will write, okay, I want to find all the nas in the age column, and it will provide you the count, how many, what is the count for this. In order to see the count, when you say in this particular form, what are the missing values? In age column, you can find that we have true values, and these true values are called missing values. Now, if you want to have the count for that, you can have sum, and within this sum, you can have that, yes, I have a clear cut count. Yes, there are 14 values which are missing. Now, my major thing is how I will fill this value. Now, the thing is that how I will going to fill these values. So I'll be coming up here. Let me drag this down. So how will I fill the missing values? Now, this is the first criteria. For missing value, you have to first look at the data distribution. What is the data distribution? For distribution, you have to first look at the histogram. So I will come here, say hist. Within hist, I want to see what column histogram. I want to see the age column histogram. Click enter. Okay. Now it is saying that plot new. Just a second. No issue at all. Let me clean up this. Let me run the file again. Our data up here. Fine, I am up here. Okay. On my right hand side, you can see that there I am getting a histogram, and on the histogram, I am getting a distribution of it. Now, looking at this particular distribution, first of all, we should know how the data has been distributed. Now, I will be coming majorly on my word. So I will be taking this, just a second. Okay. Now we will be looking down towards data distribution. So suppose if I have a distribution something like this, I have a distribution something like this. Now this curve is called bell-shaped curve. And in this particular bell-shaped curve, you can find, if suppose I drag or I simply cut short this particular data from the middle part, you will find that I have the right similarity which is on left as on right. Means the data has been divided into two equal half. Now, if I say that this is my curve or this is the uniform distributed curve, then I will definitely say if this particular point, I'm saying that in this particular point here only, and if I'm saying this is a frequency, so I will say that this is a frequency maximum. This is a maximum frequency for this particular graph. Okay. Now, I want to let you know, okay, first of all, we should understand central tendency limit. Now, in central tendency limit, we have to understand three words that are called minimum, mean, that is median, and the third is mode. Now, in a simple word, what a person will understand for mean is the average value. Now, if I look at this particular graph, what you will find the average value? This if is a max minimum value, this is a maximum value. So what you will say that the average value is something here, somewhere here. Now, this is my actual value. Or average value, I can say, suppose if in the graph, this particular point is my mean. Okay, when the curve is, what is the curve? When the curve is UDF, means uniform distributed or the bell shape. Now, if I am saying median, what is median? Median एक ऐसी वैल्यू होती है जो मेरे डेटा को दो इक्वल पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करते हैं. मींस a value which separate my data into two equal halves, this part and this part. And in this particular UDF shape, I can found that this particular point is my median value only. So my mean and median values are same if I'm talking about UDF. means uniform distributed curve, or my distribution is something like this. Now, if I'm saying about mode, mode means how many times my data has occurred. Suppose I have a data set something like this. I have a data which is occurring something like this. And in this, I find what is the mode of this particular value. You will say 1 is the mode because 1 has occurred maximum times. So this is a picture about what? This is a picture about UDF. But I am talking about a picture which I have seen in this particular graph. So just analyze this particular figure. Can you find this is a UDF curve? You will say, no, no, it is not a UDF. Now, what other sort of curves which are available in this particular world? Now, we will be looking for that curve. So we have different sort of curve. First curve is called when the data is mostly distributed on the left hand side, something like this. When the data is mostly distributed on the left hand side, when the graph is coming something like this, when the data distribution graph is something like this, then we will say this is termed as a a right skewed, a RS curve, or a right skewed curve. When the data is distributed on the left, we will say that it is right skewed. Right skewed means in this particular, when you see, you will not say that if you say that the mean value is coming something here, if you say that the mean is coming something here, then you will say that the median is coming something here. Means when the mean and median does not occur at the same point. When the mean and median does not occur at the same point. In the same way, we have another distribution known as left skewed. Left skewed occur when all the data or all the things are being scattered on the right hand part. So in the same way here also, somewhere mean and median are not lying on each other, which means that the data is not UDF. So when the mean and median are not same, then we will say that the data is right skewed or left skewed data. Now, if I'm talking about right skewed and left skewed data, I will be first looking at the data distribution. So on the curve which we are seeing for age, we will not say that it is uniform distributed. We will see that the maximum portion of data with higher values on the left part. So we will say that it is right skewed. So when the data is right skewed, yeah, left skewed, he basically takes median value to fill out the actual values. Or in another case also, we have some default value to fill with it. अगर आपके पास, if somebody says that no, you have to fill this particular default value, then you can fill default value. How we will fill the value? First of all, how we will fill that? Because we have to fill those values. So first of all, my thing will be coming up here. I will say, okay, I want to fill in which column? So I will say data dollar in the age column. In this particular age column, I will say dot where I have NAs in my data. So I say I have NAs in my data. I have datas in age. So I will make as data. I want to assign this particular column with a new value. So what is the value? I don't know. So first of all, I have to calculate the median value for this. So how I can define median value? I will say median, and for what median I have to find for this particular age. I click on this. I got NA, no issue at all. So I will say M equal to, let me have this. Unknown integer, just a second. Okay, we can, first of all, we can look at this particular image that the median value is something around, I think 39.3. So I can fill with 39, or I will say data dollar age. I click this and click this. You can find that now I don't have any missing value. Now where is the missing value? I have 39 on that particular place. Now with this point we can fill the missing value. Now if suppose I have missing value. Now if I have missing value, how the missing value actually looks like. So let us see how the missing value actually looks like. So if I say up here and I have directly access the data again. So when I say how the actual missing value looks like, so can you see I have missing value something looking like this, NaN, NaN. So I have to filling those values. So what I will be doing, I will be filling those value with the median value, that age is 39. So from the data we can also look, and now we have a complete crisp sharp of data which we have there. So now in this way we actually handle the missing values which are given into data. Now, when I'm talking about the data itself, I will be moving down toward that file. So I have supermarket. So first of all, I have handled this particular missing value. I have handled this particular missing value with the median value. Now I will be moving down with job type. Okay, so we'll be seeing this particular job type, how we get rid of this job type, how we actually convert this job type into a numerical value, how we change this particular marital status into numerical value, how we change this education into a numerical value, how we actually change this particular metro city in a numerical value. Do we have any missing value in this? Do I have to pre-process this particular purchase or not? Okay, so I think we have time about 11:45, so we will have a 10 minutes break if you all agree over that. So we should have a 10 minutes break, and after that we will be aligned by 12, and we will extend a lecture from, yeah, similar to normal distribution we have. So we will extend a lecture from 12 to 1:30. I hope so it's fine to you.
Okay, Avinash sir, we'll be taking 10 minutes break now. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We should have a 10 minutes break so
Yes,
that we,
yes. Okay, okay, sure.
all of you can refresh, and we will
Sure,
start by 12 noon, and
sure,
from
sure.
12 noon we can go to
Sure.
1:30. Then we can
Okay,
have a lunch. Okay, ma'am.
okay, okay.